Okay, so I got cut off, but that's all right. So I was just explaining what a steward is. Is a person who looks after things, or an official appointed to supervise arrangements to keep order at a large public event, you know. So it says here that Herod, the wife of Herod's steward, right? Where's it at? And Joanna, the wife of Chusa, Herod's steward. So it was like an employee, that's somebody that Herod had employed, right? But his wife, she was of the elect. She was one of the believers. Anyway, let's keep reading. And when much people were gathered together and were come to him out of every city, he spake by a parable. And remember, our Lord Yahushua, he was always speaking in parables, and it's because it wasn't for everybody, right? That's a clue. It's an easy way to cut Christians is say, well, if Yahushua came for everybody, then why the hell did he speak in parables, right? If he was there for everybody, then he would have just spoken plain language, plain Latin, plain Hebrew. But he was speaking in parables. And it's because it's not for everybody. All right? It's not ever meant for everybody. It's not for everybody that hears it, is not necessarily going to understand it or get it or believe it or receive it. You see? Let's get this real quick. Second Corinthians 4 and 3, it says, but if our gospel be hid, it is hid to them that are lost. Right? So these people that can't get the parables, they're lost. They're lost in the sauce, right? They don't understand the parables. They don't understand the scriptures. Let's read this. Verse 4. In whom the Most High of this world had blinded the minds of them which believe not. Or I'm sorry, I read that wrong. In whom the God of this world hath blinded the minds of them which believe not, lest the light of the glorious gospel of Yahushua, who is the image of the Most High, should shine unto them. So who's the God of this world? It's Esau Edom. The spiritual demon Satan manifested in the flesh as Esau Edom, the so-called white man. So he's the one who blinds the minds of these that don't believe. Because why? Because he gives them stumbling blocks. He teaches them unsound doctrine. He teaches them lies, fables, hypocrisy. So that's why Yahushua, it's easy to say, hey, Yahushua didn't die for everybody. He didn't even come to teach everybody or share this truth with everybody. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been speaking in parables. All right? So back to Luke 8 and 5. A sower went out to sow his seed, and as he sowed, some fell by the wayside, and it was trodden down, and the fowls of the air devoured it. So the sower would be the prophet, or you could even say Yahushua, going around planting seeds, teaching this knowledge, right? But some of the seeds that you scatter, what happens? It's trodden down. It fell. The birds of the air devoured the seeds, so it never had a chance. In other words, right? You have people like that. They could be heathen. They could be of the 2/3. It ain't never gonna, resonate with them. Verse 6, and some fell upon a rock, and as soon as it was sprung up, it withered away because it lacked moisture. All right. So then you have some who the birds don't swallow them up right away, but they get withered away, right? Because they get dried up by the sun. So and also another example of somebody who is never going to have a shot at understanding these parables, right? Verse 7, and some fell among thorns, and the thorns sprang up with it and choked it. See, each time we read this scripture about the parable of the sower, there's progress. It's a little more hope, but at the end of by the end of the matter, these people, or these that are likened unto these parables, these different levels of understanding, it ends up bad for them, right? One of them gets eaten by the birds. One of them is withered away because it's dry. One of them gets choked up, the one we just read about. So in other words, these are those seeds that are scattered, they're sowed, but there's nothing, there's no hope for them either way. Meaning they got exposed to this knowledge, this truth, but there was really never no hope for them. Verse 8, and other fell on the ground and sprang up and bare fruit 100-fold. And when he had said these things, he cried, He that hath ears to hear, let him hear. Right. So he spoke. Listen, imagine if you started talking, if I started saying like that, talking like that, saying, there were some seeds and these birds devoured them, there were some more seeds, but then the sun dried them up. Then there were some more seeds and these thorns. People would look at me like, what are you talking about, right? This is how the 2/3 and the heathen, they can't understand these parables, right? Verse 9, and his disciples asked him, saying, what might this parable be? Right? And see, the disciples, even though they asked Yahushua, what does it mean? They were with Yahushua, and he would expound, he would explain the deeper meaning of the parable. Right? Let me get this real quick. Let me see. I think it's Acts, right? Because the benefit of walking with Yahushua is, hey, just like the benefit of the people who are the elect and hear the prophets, they're going to hear the prophets teach, and they're going to understand, because the prophets, not only do we read the scriptures, but we break them down on the streets, you see, and on these videos. So Acts 18 and 26, it says, and he began to speak boldly in the synagogue, whom when Aquila and Priscilla had heard, they took him unto them and expounded unto him the way of the Most High more perfectly. Right. And so this is not the one I was looking for, but expounding, it means explaining better, explaining in a deeper nature, deeper sense, getting a better understanding. Well, I couldn't find the verse I was looking for. I thought that was it. But basically what goes in on is Yahushua would expound to his disciples, to his students. That's what the word disciple means. So we go to Luke 8. And they'd ask, what does this mean, right? What does this parable mean? And they, like I said, they had the benefit from Yahushua breaking it down for them. Just like these heathen, these 2/3, and even the elect, they have the benefit of the prophets on the streets and on the videos breaking down the scriptures. And again, it's only for the elect. Remember, everybody else is blinded. Verse 10, and he said, unto you it is given to know the mysteries of the kingdom of the Most High, but to others in parables, that seeing they might not see, and hearing they might not understand. So that's what I've been saying, right? It's given unto the elect. The mysteries are given unto the elect. And it's because the elect listens to the prophets and believes the prophets. Amos 3 and 7, the mysteries of the kingdom are given to the elect. And Amos 3 and 7, surely the Most High Yahweh will do nothing, but he revealeth his secret. Another word for secret is mystery, unto his servants the prophets. All right? So, just like Yahushua expounds to his disciples, so does the prophets in this age. We go deeper, and we give the breakdowns of the scriptures, of the parables, of the prophecies. Something you never got in any other church, before we were walked into this marvelous light, this understanding of this Bible. Luke 8:10. Luke 8 and 11. It says, now the parable is this. So now you see, now he's breaking down the parable, what I just did earlier. Now the parable is this: the seed is the word of the Most High, right? Meaning, remember, some of them they had a little bit of they had exposure, but it wasn't for them. So they either the birds ate it, it either dried up in the sun, or the thorns choked it up, right? Or the good ground, the ones that fell on good ground, sprang up and bear fruit, meaning those planted seeds actually flourished to the point where they actually, that's a characteristic of seeds, like in fruits and vegetables. If you drop, a tree will grow. Let's say an apple tree, the apple will fall from the tree, and the seed is gonna automatically reproduce itself if it falls underground, right? So this just keeps going and going and going, right? And that's how the parable is for the elect or the prophets, right? They're gonna bear good seed, and they're gonna. Well, let's read it. We'll just read it here. Well, in verse 8, it explains it a little bit. Let me read that again. Another fell on good ground and sprang up and bare fruit 100-fold. And when he had said these things, he cried, "He that hath ears to hear, let him hear." Right? That represents the true prophets, right? The servants, the ones who are going to plant those seeds, and there's going to be an increase, Let's see. Verse 12. Well, I'll read 11. Now the parable is this: the seed is the word of the Most High, right? Verse 12. Those by the wayside are they that hear, then cometh the devil and taketh away the word out of their hearts or their minds, lest they should believe and be saved. Right. So that's what it is. These are the ones they'll hear the truth, and then all of a sudden, the devil or Esau Edom walks up and puts doubt in their head, right? Or somebody's like you had a man, he comes to the camp, he hears the truth, and he's like, oh man, it sounds good to him. He feels like he believes it. Then he gets home to his wife, and she's like, oh man, you listen to them goddamn prophets, you listen to them Hebrew Israelites, and takes him out of his mind, right? Let's keep reading. And let me just, because it came through to my remembrance, Job 1, and yeah, see, this is that devil, because that's how things happen too. Like sometimes you'll have a we had an example this past weekend at camp. We had this Gadite. He stopped and he was interested and he was listening, but his wicked ass sister had a demon on her, and like he was listening, he wanted to learn and listen, and she was standing far back away from the camp, talking about let's go. We don't want to, don't listen to these guys. Just wicked ass spirit on this woman, a beautiful looking Gadite woman, but like it says here, what we just read, is in actually Luke 8 and 12. I'll read it again out of my text. It says, those by the wayside are they that hear, then cometh the devil and taketh away the word out of their hearts, lest they should believe and be saved. See, so he had a chance. He was ready to believe and be saved, but he he was taken away by that devil, that demon that she had on her. She didn't she wasn't having no part of the prophets, man. Standing all far away, right? Not wanting to come and listen at all. Let's read Job 1 and 6. It says, now there was a day when the sons of the Most High came to present themselves before the Lord, Yahweh, and Satan came also among them, right? And that's what that just brought back to that verse to remembrance, right? Because when we go to present ourselves, we're the sons of the Most High. Then all of a sudden, here comes them devils, the demons. It's that balance, right? Dealing with that balance. We go out to the camps, guess what? The demons are going to show up. And that girl was a demon. Like I said, she had that's that perfect example of that parable I just read too. Because let me read it again. what was it, 12? Yep. 8:12, it says, those by the wayside are they that hear, then cometh the devil and taketh away the word out of their hearts, out of their minds. So she was taking it away. She didn't want him to hear the prophets. All right. Man, I wish I would have came up with this verse when it happened, Verse 13, they on the rock are they which, when they hear, receive the word with joy, and these have no root, which for a while believe, and in time of temptation fall away. So you got those people that they'll hear the truth, oh man, throwing their fist up in there, like, yeah, man, when you guys come out here every weekend, I'm gonna come out here next weekend. Can I stand with you guys? I'm gonna come out here next weekend, and then never to be seen. You see. So they come out. This guy sounds good, and he knows it's the truth. His spirit knows it, but guess what? He really just it's that seed on the rock. It's not nourished. And in time, it just forget about it. We had another guy come to the camp, and that's what he was doing, throwing his fist up, pulled up in his car, pulled over. A couple minutes later, walked right to the camp to ask us when we're out there. Ask us, He wanted to learn, but it was only for that moment, right? He wasn't sincere. He said he was going to come back. He's like, I'll come back next week. He had his daughter with him, trying to teach her a little bit. He was, and then he was never seen again. He's been missing in action. You see. Verse 14. And that which fell among thorns are they which, when they have heard, go forth and are choked with cares and riches and pleasures of this life, and bring no fruit to perfection. So the thorns, they have a little more progress, right? The thorns, they actually might even do a little more reading, a little studying, but then other things comes to them, like debauchery, a life of debauchery, life of pleasure. And then that fruit it just never comes forth, right? So there's a lot of people that come into this and are exposed and hear this truth and this knowledge, and it feels good, it sounds good in the moment, but they're not of the elect. Why? Because they don't become on fire for the truth, right? They don't believe wholeheartedly. You see, verse 15. And I'm going to actually stop at 18, so let's read 15. It says, but that on the good ground are they which in an honest and good heart, having heard the word, keep it and bring forth fruit with patience, right? So that's that good seed. That's the elect. That good, the ones that are on the seeds that fell on good ground, not on the rock, not on the thorns, They weren't withered. They weren't choked up. But rather they fell on that good ground, That's the elect are likened unto, right? Brings into remembrance, is it Psalms or Proverbs? Maybe it's Proverbs. Hold on. Shoot, man, I think it is Psalms. Oh, yeah, it is Psalms. I missed it. Psalm 1 and 3. Falling on good ground, nourished well, right? That's the elect. This is the elect man right here I'm going to read about, is Psalms 1 and 3. And he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water, that bringeth forth his fruit in his season. His leaf also shall not wither, and whatsoever he doeth shall prosper. See, and that's the elect. That's the ones that fall on good ground. And those trees planted by rivers of water, when a tree is planted by a river, that tree is going to be well nourished, man. It's going to have the colors on its leaves are going to be vibrant. The leaves are going to be big, full. And this is the same thing with the men who are of the elect. The teeth. You're going to have that boldness, Like if you see a well-nourished tree, the colors are bold on it. It's all pretty to look at. And see it on the contrast, you see another tree, it's like all withered, the leaves are cracked, they don't have much life in them, like a desert tree, But those ones that are planted by the rivers of water, hey, those are nourished. Those are well nourished, well maintained. And that's the same thing, the seeds that fall on the good ground, right? Which like I say, that's the elect. Luke, go back to Luke 8:16. It says, "No man, when he hath lighted a candle, covereth it with a vessel, or putteth it under a bed, but setteth it on a candlestick, that they which enter in may see the light." Right. So that's the other thing. When you have this knowledge, this truth, you don't want to just hide it or bury it. Like, remember that Yahushua called that dude that buried his talent a wicked servant, because instead of his letting his light shine, or letting teaching or planting seeds, what he do? He just didn't even talk about it. That'd be like that prophet who knows this truth, knows the names. He knows he's an Israelite, but he never goes out, teaches nobody, right? He never shares the good news. He never gives them the comforting words of the scriptures, right? That's the one that's like covering a candle, right? When you cover a candle, no one can see. There's no light in the house. But if you put that candlestick, on the top, where high up, where people are going to be able to see. Right? And that's what this truth is. That's what the elect do. That's what those good seeds, they're going to see. They're going to understand the parable. All right? Verse 17. "For nothing is secret that shall not be made manifest, neither anything hid that shall not be known and come abroad." And that's what this truth is. Starting out with Esau. We're exposing Esau Edom, the so-called white man, for who he is according to the scriptures. He's that wicked one he's just a cancer to the earth. Right? But you wouldn't know that if you didn't have the prophets telling you, right? Because even before we were showed the marvelous light, before we came in this knowledge and this truth, some of us didn't. We may have had a hunch, but we didn't know what it was. Now that we were in this truth, we didn't know who the so-called white man was. We didn't know he was the wicked. They were trying to teach us that he was actually God, and he was the Messiah, and he was the one with all the answers, all the solutions, So now even he's being, made manifest, meaning there's no secrets anymore, right? Like they used to have a term, secret societies, right? That goes back with Esau, Edom. And now those secret societies are not so secret because you have the internet, people exposing, like the stuff like the Bohemian Grove, the Bilderberg groups, the so-called Illuminati, all these different secret societies. Guess what? They're not secret anymore. People know about them. Verse 18. "Take heed therefore how ye hear, for whosoever hath to him shall be given, and whosoever hath not from him shall be taken, even that which he seemeth to have." Right, and that verse right there should put fear in you, man. Because let me read that again, man. That verse right there, that's a fearful verse, man. Let me read it. "Take heed therefore now how ye hear, for whosoever hath to him shall be given, and whosoever hath not from him shall be taken, even which he seemeth to have." Right. That's why you got to be diligent, because it could even be taken away from you. This knowledge, this truth. The spirit of Yahweh Shem Yashai could jump off you. That'd be a fearful thing. Call halal Yahweh Shem Yashai. The time is 11:44, 144. So hey, but I just wanted to go in on a scripture. I had a busy day today. Started a new gig, and had to go back into structured slavery. But things are just. There's always constant change, constant balance in our lives, and constant, endurance. That's the whole point. But if we're of the elect, if we're falling on good ground, hey, all we got to do is keep working, keep enduring, and we're gonna be taken up in those chariots, Lord's will, sooner than we think. But with that, I'm going to go ahead and close out. I want to give all the praise, all the glory, all the honor unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah Kodash. Double honors goes out to the elder apostles of Great Millstone for teaching me the truth. Also, want to acknowledge all the Akim who are pushing the truth with sincerity.